Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Oh, good. He's snacking right now. Yeah, you're on. You're on.
Are you snacking, Axel?
Yeah. What's up?
What's up, buddy?
For interrupting your meal. Sorry. Snack
What
away. Snack away.
what's he eating?
What's up? There's these woodland boops.
Are they like
Yeah, this is
pellets?
dandelion and rose hip. So everything is for different parts of the
It's so
his,
cute.
his body that'll help, like there's another one that's good for cranberry and Timothy hay and cranberry that's good for the bladder. And then this is, I think, I don't know what it's for. I know it's supposed to be good. they're
Rabbit
healthy.
food.
They're healthy treats.
Yum.
Yeah.
Sounds good, Axel. I like rose hips.
Cool. You might have to fight him for them then.
Never would fight Axel for anything. Just pet him. He can have them. He can have them. He can have them all.
So, topic for today, the moon.
Ooh, I have learned some things about the moon this year.
Star.
What's that?
The Death Star.
The Death Star.
Some people say it's like a satellite or whatever. It's not really what we think it is, but
yes. It definitely hasn't been used for good. That much I know. And that's very, very clear now. But what's interesting that I learned this year is that we actually have a moon within us.
okay.
And that there is a moon, I think, within the planet too, and that often what we see is a hologram of that in the sky.
Oh,
So we are looking at something that is there, but it's not what we think. So that will be interesting to see that either reverse or switch or however that's going to go, or just disappear altogether. But what really made me happy about that was that there is this element to us receiving. And I think this particular way that the moon's been used over all this time has been to prevent that receiving. So I got really excited because I was like, oh my God, there's one inside me. And now I can actually receive properly.
cool.
Because that's always been hard for me. I haven't really related to that. And it seems like such a hard work. And then you've got the moon, which makes us Looney Tunes and lunatic.
And
I
that's
mean, this is where these words come from.
yeah, pretty well documented. I mean, anybody in emergency services knows that.
Mm,
A lot of EDPs around that time. It's just I don't know. I mean, the whole thought that, we're influenced because our bodies are primarily water based and it affects us that way. um, yeah.
I think I saw something too where it was actually not a part of the tides. That there were functionalities of the tides that would happen anyway. I think more connected with sun than moon.
So
But
maybe we're reacting to the tides and not the moon.
yeah, I can't remember exactly what it was, but that was interesting because, again, just being used to really manipulate, for lack of a better word, you know,
Yeah.
um, it really sucks. We're so done with this manipulation stuff. I mean, I can only laugh about it at this point because it's just kind of comical.
It's just the amount of energy that they put into deceiving us on every level.
Hmm. Hmm.
Like whether, they're hiding truth and some of it's right, some of it's totally wrong. It's just a lot of energy. But, I mean, when it comes to controlling the masses, I guess they would have to do that. But now with social media, I think they underestimated social media because there's a lot of information coming out now that they can't hide it anymore.
Yeah, and I'm really sorry to say this to anybody. If you think you're stupid, um, you're not. I mean, you're good-hearted. You don't expect these things. We're
I'd say
good.
naive. Yeah, we're all
Yeah,
naive because we're just
like we
trusting.
would never believe that anyone would do that
Right.
because we wouldn't, you know. So it's like saying you're stupid because you got robbed.
Mhm.
It's like people are really good at what they do when they decide to do something wrong. You know, they get really, really good at it. And you're just usually so good-hearted that you would fall into the trap of that. We all have. So the moon is an interesting one though, because it's a big thing. I think it has been an enormous effect on humanity, preventing us from a lot of things. Really, I kind of like almost being used as an actual blocker.
Mhm.
Because people always talk about it in terms of intuition and the moon and the feminine, and it's been used for exactly the opposite of that, which is wild to
Yeah.
fathom, you know.
Which could be why they keep talking about mirror. Everything is a mirror. So it's like been used, everything's been used against us. Everything good has been used against us because they reversed the meaning
Mm-hmm.
behind it.
And you know, I'm so interested in Jacqueline Hobbs' work from oraclegirl.org, and she talks about the two suns being inside of us sort of work in tandem for our purity. And the moon is also in there. So it's literally a part of you, and it's also a part of our planet. I think it like exists sort of like inside the planet, whatever that means, because if you're still thinking of it inside the planet as a ball, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Inside the planet can mean just this huge toroidal field. So it's like, it's wild. Like, and she was saying also that we are a very small part of what's in the world, and that we are going to see, you know, these other species who've been here all along with us. And I think they're in different sort of like outward dimensionalities in this toroidal field that we live in, which is, I believe, both round and flat. I think it's both. I think it's like a gigantic 8 and then all this weird stuff coming in and out of it. It's like an energetic field.
Yeah. Could see that. I'm like, I'm still come to terms with, you know, trying to make sense of it. So I'm still, you know, on the fence about it, but hearing the other explanations that go into a little more detail, it kind of could make sense. So, I'll keep an open mind to it.
I
But
think about it, but then it's like when I'm talking to you right now, I'm still thinking of it as a sphere.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
just
I,
because this is just nothing else that's ever come into my mind
yeah,
about the
yeah.
earth other than that. But I
The
do know and I feel that there are these other energetics, and you certainly know there's much more expansive stuff. The fact that it could be in kind of one gigantic component makes perfect sense to me
mhm.
too. So it's like kind of a way, like you said, of getting your mind around it.
Makes me think about not I don't know what the remake was like with I think Brendan Fraser did it, but the original Journey to the Center of the Earth with James Mason.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
Oh yeah, it's really, really interesting. It's really good. And so they go in, and when they go in, they find the lost city of Atlantis. But when they go in, they find this giant ocean, and they do see a sun in there.
Wow.
And I'm like thinking about it now. I'm like, and they made, it's like, you watch the movie a million times, you don't really think about it. And now, what we're finding out, I'm like, shit, did they know back then? Sorry. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Oh, they totally did. Totally did.
Did they know about it then?
I'm thinking they did. I think they knew a lot of things back then. Yeah.
So it's crazy because now I'm like, oh, look at that.
It's wild, isn't it? To
Yeah.
look at things and just go, oh my God, it was there all along.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, I think, it's there's so many things that we're going to see where we're like, oh, it was right here in front of me all along. I mean, we're all kind of realizing that about a lot of things right now that were very undesirable. We're looking forward to the happy side of that equation, I think. You know what I mean?
The guy that wrote Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, not a good guy.
Yeah,
Guy.
not surprised. Yeah, and I think that we're looking forward to the better side of the equation where there's things we're going to start seeing that were right here in front of us that are absolutely fantastical and amazing. That's exciting to me.
The true meaning behind everything will
Mm-hmm.
be revealed. And, I think a lot of us are going to be shocked.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a good thing because when you reveal truth and everything, then you can move on with it. And then everything will be a better place going forward.
And it really is a process. Like this thing with the moon, it's taken me a long time. I mean, it was about 3 years ago that I've heard people speaking about it, that it was not a good energetic, that it was used for certain things.
Kind of interesting because if you look at all of like the Wicca and the witchcraft stuff, the moon is always a big part of it.
It is a technology, and again, this is a very funny thing because we've never ever thought of our biology as technology until now. I haven't anyway.
Yeah.
Body is body, it's organic, it's whatever, it's not a technology. Of course it's a technology. You use your feet, they ground you into the earth. You're like an antenna. You create sound and vibration. We're an absolute technology.
Mhm.
One of the most sophisticated technologies that exists, in fact. Shocker.
Yeah.
And the
Which
moon
is why they
is
want
also,
hack it.
yeah,
That's why hack it.
they want access to that. You better believe it.
And I'm sorry, Neuralink, not a good idea. Sorry.
No, thanks. You're good.
No.
You don't get it. But yeah, it's like that concept. So it took me a while to realize that it was definitely a technology and I knew this was happening. Now I'm starting to connect it to our technology, our bodies, our earth, our planet, the technology of the planet, that it may actually exist inside of there. We may be projecting it out in the wrong way. Maybe because we've been poisoned. I mean, and then as we go along this journey, you start to kind of click, you put pieces together and it starts to make more sense. So I'm not afraid of it. Before I was
Yeah.
kind of like, I'm not sure about you. I would look at it in the night sky and be like, I used to really like you, but now I don't really know. I don't think you're really
That's
cool.
for sure. And then let's not even get into the different positions that it's in on any given night. I mean, people that sworn that, at a certain time of year, every time out their bedroom window, they would see it in this position. They're not seeing it there anymore. And
That's
then
wild.
even nights when I leave work, because it's very, it's like an executive park, so it's like all wooded. Um, and I'll see it either in front of me one night, I'll see it a little bit off to the side, which I'll accept. But then the next night it's over there.
Really? Wow.
Shouldn't
And
it more over here first before it goes way over there?
that's the same time every night too, right?
Yeah.
Wow. I have to be more observant. I mean, I've definitely seen things when I've been up in the mountains where it's just hasn't been there at all. And I'm
Get a
like,
dog. Get a dog. You
it's
get to see the
always,
sunrise and you get to see the sunset and you get to see the moon. I used to see a
yeah,
lot more walking my dog, but
that's awesome.
I gotta start walking you.
Axel, Axel's like, I
Is that
don't walk, I hop and I sleep. He just
and
looked
you
over at me when I said that.
that yeah, know your we know your whole routine, buddy.
Axel, what do you think of the moon?
I guess we agree. Whatever. It's like I'll let you guys figure it out.
He's like, not much. Not much until it starts doing the right thing. I wonder if it will go away altogether. Some people have said that will happen.
That'd be crazy.
I know. Now it could take 10 or 20 years for that, but maybe not.
Just unplug it.
Yeah. And again, it is a hologram of something that we're projecting out from our plasmic field. That will be a very interesting thing to,
Oh yeah.
we'll know.
And what
at-
made it appear in the first place,
yeah. Like
Did
a
we
lot
really,
of things.
yeah, did we really go to the moon? Because if you look at the studio where they filmed the lunar landing, you know, like did they do that because we didn't have clear communication at the time we supposedly went to the moon and they filmed that as a backup? Or you know, did we never really go? And if we did go 40 years, 50 years later, why have we not gone back?
Yeah.
And we have more advanced technology now. Just asking for a friend.
Great question. Asking for Axel. Wow. Yeah. Things that make you go, I think they wrote a song about that. Yeah, just a little bit of thinking there. Yeah, and again, it's this plasmic field of our conjugate mirror, which is inside. We are each one of us a mirror. And you just project it out onto the field, and it's been used. It's been used for a lot of things that weren't that great. Storms, anything get you afraid about. If you get millions and millions and millions of people doing the same thing out of it in one operation and then projecting this out, it's very powerful. So it's been used.
The thought projection, that's a theory in the paranormal community too, where if you put enough energy into a certain thing, like what was it they were saying, Slender Man or the Rake, those oddities, suddenly now people are seeing them, and it's like they weren't there before. It's like, is the energy of the thought going into that and creating it? So, it's would make sense now. Yeah.
So it's interesting to think because we've been used largely for things collectively.
We can turn that around and put all the positive energy and just send out the light and counteract all of that. So it works both ways. So
that's what's happening now, which is just great. Because once you become aware of that, you're like, oh, you mean I just don't have to look at that? Oh, okay. And it's done. It's game over at that point. Enough people realized that even in the past 5 years, I think.
Don't feed the energy.
Yeah, and it's been a while for me, but it's really clear now. Now I'm like, I'm looking over here. I'm looking within. I'm doing anything but what they're telling you to do, and it's getting easier to do that too, which is really, really cool. It was a harder work about 10 years ago. Definitely harder to do that. Yeah. To really consciously do it. Now I'm like, I'm so done at this point.
Yeah, it's the same thing with anything. The more you do it, the more it becomes second nature and it becomes easier. So, if if you're having a bad day, force yourself to smile. Even if you smile for 2 minutes, try 3 minutes the next day and try 5 minutes the next day. And eventually, before you know it, you're smiling more, and it does lift your spirit. It does. I've tried that before.
Yeah.
When I moved to California, I was just like, just, miserable and not happy. And somebody had said that, and I tried it, and then I tried the meditation, and it was like, wow. It took a little while, but it really turned things around. So
amazing. Yeah, very cool. So we'll be finding out more, and we'll probably definitely revisit this topic because as we get along in this journey, it's going to be so interesting to see. Who knows? Maybe we'll be like, hey, Stephanie, I haven't seen the moon in 3 months. What's up? What's up with that?
Nobody paid the light bill.
We'll see. We'll find out what it really is, what it really, and we'll discover some of these things within ourselves too.
Oh yeah.
It's going to be just amazing. Most of it will be us discovering through ourselves. So, yeah. So Good Night Moon. That's a great book. It's a great
Isn't it a book
children's. That's a yeah.
I have
That's
to
a good.
reread?
I love
Or
that book.
it's good?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's really sweet, and that made me a little sad about the moon because I'm like, I really like that book, man. So I
Mhm.
think we can keep the good things.
Yeah, no, I
You
think
like it?
so. We need to reclaim everything that they corrupted,
That's
you know,
really it. Yeah, it's not even about anything
all that stuff.
disappearing or
Yeah,
yeah. It's about taking it back. Take back the night. So good night,
right.
moon.
It's
We're
what you
taking you
put in,
back.
yeah, if you put what you put into it. So if I'm not going to put the negative energy in there and I'm going to say it's a good thing and my intentions are good, then that's all you need.
Yeah, we're not doing anything their way, but we'll keep what we like. Cool. So good night, moon. We're gonna keep you. Good night,
Sounds like,
Axel.
sounds
I
like
love
fun.
you. Bye.
Good night, guys.